Hello, hello, and welcome back. It is Wednesday afternoon. We did a lot of game design this morning. We're going to do more game design now. So where do we leave off? Design a game that is broken in an obvious way that doesn't change its mechanics to a different genre. I'm using that trope too much. Yeah. Space shooter. Hey, Icicle. Nice golden kappa you got there. And hey, Sinistella. They changed how they did the golden kappa, right? It used to be like one person on all of Twitch, and now it's a handful somehow. I heard the notification while scooping litter, but still got first. Yeah, it hasn't been too hotly contested lately, I think. Yeah. Okay, well, I've mentioned a space shooter a couple times now. Originally, I had an idea where you would just like not fight any of the enemies. In fact, you know what? I wonder, is there something to a tower defense game with no actual combat? Probably not, but let's think about it at some point. So, space shooter, what do we have written here? Something from this bundle. There are more ships than they show. How many ships? 12 spaceships, and then 48 of these. 5 tank-like ships. There's not a lot of animation. Like, I'd want there to be turning animations. Maybe you can kind of fake that. Like, this has them. Animated pixel ships. Yeah. I like that. And it has, like, power-up versions of them. Yeah, this is pretty neat. This is all part of the same bundle, right? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and then some pixel enemies. Yeah, I definitely like this pack. I'm glad I have this written down. But what do I have written down for ideas here? City background isn't too in depth. What is this one? Oversell. Isn't this AI? Didn't I read something about this? No generative AI was used. Hmm. Yeah. Well, what else do I have? What if your power ups were all to decorate the interior of your ship? Potted plant, air freshener, signed picture from your favorite celebrity. Bullets bounce off of enemies or linger in the air and never really go away. More about how many bullets you can shoot and then how accurately you can shoot. Okay. So, yeah, let's talk about Space Shooter. I wanted to make a space shooter for a while now. I didn't have any crazy good ideas. Originally, it was that you could leave the game by flying away from the battles. I don't think we should use that, given that the loot boxes game can be exited at pretty much any time. I had another idea about bullets just lingering in the air and becoming sort of like landmines. I really do like this asset pack though. Where do the where do the bullet sprites come from? 5 missile designs. Is that considered a missile what I saw in that graphic? I don't even know what the graphic is anymore. Oh, they have a pilot thing. That could potentially work. Yeah, here they show some bullets. I don't know if they consider those missiles, but there are clearly missiles off to the right there. And has this person done any other artwork on Itch? Is it all just space shooter stuff? Oh man, they've done some. I like their artwork. I think it's pretty good. I don't think they're doing a great job marketing it, really. Like, I expect on the right side to have a bunch of screenshots of what this contains, and they do show some animated things over here. But like, if those were on the right, I'd be like, oh, there's more than what this seems like. They also have a side scroller version of a space shooter. Robot character. Roguelite Survivor Ninja Pack. Wow. RPG assets, free assets. A player ship with 3 frames. I think it's 3 frames per direction. Or maybe there's a paid version of this. No, it's just this. 2 enemy ships, 2 large enemy ships, 2 projectiles, an explosion, UI, space background. And what do we have here? Gain access to all my paid assets with Patreon? Seriously? How much does this cost? Join for free. Membership options. Thank you for your support. All proceeds will go into expanding and creating new assets. Supporters will get early access to updates, access to all my game assets. Wow, for $5? Seriously? Like one of their packs is $5, right? Yeah. Well, if I hadn't read this. And then what does this say? Basically the same as the previous ones, created for those who'd like to provide extra support. Wow. All right, well, I better write this down. Yeah, although they give all of their assets if you join their Patreon for $5. Man, that's a crazy deal. Yeah, that's crazy. They have some way to like link Patreon here. This is not the same person, but this is that person. Oh, maybe they're on Patreon. Check out this link for the license. What is the license? What you can do using commercial products. Good. No need to credit me. I definitely want to. Use, sell, share, transfer, giveaway, sub-license. They don't mention editing it. Yeah, I very likely need to edit this stuff. Hey, Fisher. I'm sure he washed his hands. Yeah, I should probably just confirm with them really fast. They have a contact page, so I'll write that down. Note, their license doesn't stipulate how edits should work, so I may need to reach out to them. Good afternoon, David. All right, bounce off of enemies, never really go away. Okay, so it could be that enemies have to move into bullets rather than bullets moving into enemies. I don't think this feels broken enough. Maybe bullets heal the enemies. Well, if it... That's kind of stupid. I was going to say maybe like they get overhealed and they die, but that's the same thing as them just taking damage. What else could we do here? Like I said, I wanted a broken game. I mean, we could break it in other ways. I like looking at like a picture already kind of set up from a game you can envision here. What is this thing supposed to be? Hey, hang on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what this is supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be the player ship. I'm not totally sure. But okay, so let's say you, and you know what, maybe the way to go about doing this from here on out is just like buy the assets and just plonk them down in the editor and start messing around with stuff and see what feels right. Maybe that's something we should try. Try like prototype based design. We just buy assets, throw them into something, and then see what ideas that sparks. I like to look at games that have, or like I like to look at itch pages that have screenshots of imagined games to get inspiration, but they don't always exist for every asset pack. Like this set, if you go look at this and you click over here, this looks like it could be a game, right? It's not just showing you an environment, it's showing you a character and an enemy, and you can kind of imagine, oh, you could probably jump from here to here and you can probably attack that thing and you can probably climb the ladder. But you look at this one, well, this does have it, but some of these other ones do not. Like this, they're just some ships. And I get that's what you're buying here, and they don't want to always give across that you're getting more than you're actually paying for. But yeah, it's sometimes hard to picture what we would end up doing with this. Well, this is part of why we're planning all this stuff out. But I wonder if we should take a different direction for how this is broken. I've changed mechanics so many times for games now. A rinse? There's soap involved in this rinse. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to come up with tropes I have not already touched on. Oh, but they wash themselves. But yeah, anyway, I hear you. If you haven't gotten sick, you haven't gotten sick. Maybe I'm just compulsive when it comes to washing my hands after taking care of litter here. What do I want to do with this? Also, I wonder, is there a way to see asset packs by when they produced them? Like this, is there a date on here? 8 months ago is when this was, had some comments. They say when it was created though. Published, oh nice, they do. Okay, so 2025. So I could try to figure out how active have they been on itch. Like what was the last thing they did? Because 2025 is now, well, that was like roughly 8 months ago. April, so it's even farther back. 2024, okay. 2023. 2023. So they're probably not going to, this is 2018, wow. They're probably not going to be more spaceship bundles. 2019, yeah, they've been on itch for a while. 2020. So they're practically in order of date. I mean, not really. Some of these are bouncing around now, but none of them are from like 2026. Well, they do say that they were updated pretty recently. I wonder what that entailed. Yeah. Hey, Pretzel. Think enemies launch power-ups at you that do wonky things for a short time, like reverse left and right controls, make your speed oscillate randomly from fast slow, make your ship slow, make your ship rotate constantly, etc. So one of the things that's kind of hard to make a distinction of is like what's a game mechanic and what's a broken game mechanic. So getting power ups or power downs are just game mechanics normally. So it had to sort of feel broken. So as an example, like the enemies are the power-ups could be a way that they're kind of broken. Like you're trying to dodge the ships and everything, and it turns out if you just walk into them, you gain some fire rate or something like that. Workout was good. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I just sort of ESP'd the question over to you. What was for lunch? I had pasta and pesto. And what editor is this? This is VS Code right now. So what Appressel just linked is Rider. That is this editor. They look practically identical because I use the same color schemes for them. But yeah, this is VS Code right here. It's just a lightweight editor compared to Rider. All right, I didn't really want to look through every single one of these, but I'm almost at the bottom anyway. So let's just go see. They haven't made any assets in 2026, it sounds like, or at least none of these so far. I mean, they have made updates more recently. Yeah, like this has been updated in 2026. Although, for what? Added barrel roll animation. Okay. It's cool they're doing that. And that's it. Yeah, that's everything. So they haven't made assets in a little while and put them on itch. Not new stuff, at least. That's fine. Also note they haven't made brand new assets in a while on itch, but they have updated old packs. They also had that website. Where was the website? I know it might seem like I'm over-indexing on this. Here it is. Please check out this link. Leaving the indie. Go to game assets. It's all the same stuff, right? Yeah, it's all the same stuff. They have any like news that they've been posting about? 2020, wow. Updates after 2 years. Hard to believe it's been 2 years since my last post. My new day job started back in 2023. Pretty much took over most of my free time. Haven't updated the site. I still continue to update and create new game assets. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Patreon also gives early access to... Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll write that down. Their Patreon may have new assets that aren't on itch yet. Wonder what they're making. What a pretzel? I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, Justa. Got thrown back to school and people saying do a barrel roll. Until they took a laser to the knee. All right, so yeah, like the enemies could be power-ups. Maybe you don't realize because you are trying to avoid their bullets. Like, this is a pretty interesting idea. I like this a lot. I don't know how we'd communicate it exactly. Command system. Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't know if command SOP was supposed to be a thing. SOP to me is standard operating procedure. Yeah. Maybe that's what you meant. Enemies could be power-ups. So yeah, that's one thing we could do here. Is there something else? I mean, Ikaruga already did the thing where like bullets could be power-ups for you. But this had the color system and you had to absorb them. Space shooter, shoot them up, whatever. Yeah, this. I talked about this game on stream before. It's a very good game, in my opinion. But the way that it worked was pretty nice. So you had either this like reddish black force field or a whitish blue force field. And if you were the same color as a bullet, you'd absorb it. And if you weren't the same color, you'd get hit. Actually, I think you just die. And then you filled up this bar using the same color bullets, and you could shoot something like homing attack. That's what you see here, these like tendrils of color shooting out. So there were tons of bullets on the screen at any time, and you had to keep like swapping polarity of your ship. And it was pretty cool. This is not a broken mechanic or anything. This is just how they happen to make the game. Hey, Dow. Gotcha. I see. All right. That works, Suppressal. And thanks, Jesta. So what if you don't realize this? I guess the game would be all about realizing this mechanic. That this mechanic exists and then exploiting it. And if you don't do that, then you can't win, basically. Is that fun? It's very similar to the top-down shooter. Well, similar. And that you gain power until you overwhelm the enemy. Actually, wait, maybe you don't even kill the boss. Maybe you don't even kill the bosses. You just fly into them. Okay, now that could be interesting. But then maybe there are power-ups that fall and they hurt you. That signals, yeah. Maybe power-ups drop but they hurt you. Like your ship explodes as soon as they touch the power-ups. Yeah. Okay. I kind of like this idea. So whenever you touch an enemy ship, you destroy them basically, and you get stronger. And whenever a power-up touches you, you blow up. And bullets still hurt you. I might as well write this down. Bullets still hurt you, but you have a life bar or something. So you don't just take one hit and die. All right, all right, all right. I think this is pretty interesting. Yeah, I think this is pretty interesting. So this is one of those like figure out the broken mechanic. All right, let's write it down. Space shooter. So overview, enemies are actually power-ups. Power-ups are actually bombs. And yeah, what seem like power-ups are actually bombs. Bullets are still bullets. You need to learn that you need to learn to fly into enemies to both destroy them and power up. Yeah, I like this idea. It's broken in a way that isn't an incremental. It's a fun thing to learn and figure out. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, space shooter, as far as I'm concerned, has been figured out. So any other games you can make that are broken, but not in a way that is changing mechanics or genres, just broken mechanics, basically. And we had a bunch of ideas written down over here, which I should probably go take a look at some point. So I wrote that on a card game one. Where is that? A card game. It's literally just one card. Sequel is in Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, and you get to the 2-card game version that makes the joke more obvious the second time around. At some point, it could actually be an interesting game. Maybe the second card is much less detailed than the first, and when we add a 3rd and 4th card, they're like MS Paint level drawings. I'll write this down because I think that's kind of funny. All right, the game could turn into another game inside the art itself, sort of like Super Mario 64. I was actually picturing you would shrink down to be in some kind of platformer on the card. It could happen. I don't think it's necessary. The card game should just be a joke with no real mechanics. Maybe keep drawing the card over and over and it raises your fun level, or you win every combat. Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's see. Could add references to, I guess, just Botland at this point now. We already added Skeleseller. RPG tutorial. Yeah, this sort of thing I really like. This is a broken mechanic that doesn't involve you having to switch genres. You equip a sword, but the sword's still in your inventory. So you equip the sword again, still in your inventory. You keep equipping the sword over and over and over. You end up with like 1 billion attack. This could work. This could work best for a turn-based game. Oh man, this sort of thing is so cool to me. Mega Man password screen. So they had in the old Mega Man games a screen like this. You just put dots on a board. That was your password. And then eventually they changed to a 16-digit number. Maybe it was 12 digits. I don't actually remember. Whoop, nope. Don't want to load up music. Just want to load the image. Yeah, so here it was 16 digits. Apparently in Mega Man X it was 12 digits. So what I was thinking of for a game would be you get to a password screen and you need to figure out what these numbers correspond to. So like the first one might be the number of enemies on the screen. The next one might be the number of power-ups on the screen. The next one might be the number of life that you start with. So you want to set some of these to a low number, some of them to a high number, and then some of them probably to a specific number. Like maybe there's one that's a number of locks and number of keys. Well, I guess you could just set those both to 9 or to 1 and it would be okay. But maybe it's something like there's a lever you need to press down, and one of the numbers is how much weight you put on top of it. So when you put 5 down, it puts 5 weights on it. You don't want to like crush it. Amir, thanks for the sub. Welcome. I like that idea. I think it's pretty cool. And I think it's easy enough to do. I don't know if it's very fun. Yeah, the first number is the amount of enemies. The second is how much life you have. The third is how many weights get dropped from the top of the world onto a lever. You need it to be 3, so it depresses the lever without, I guess not a lever, a switch or a plate or pressure plate or something like that without crushing it, something like that. It's going pretty well. We've been doing game design all day. There have been various levels of idea. Like there's the thing that has eluded me, and I still cannot come up with anything for this, the Tiny Swords asset pack on itch. I already purchased this. Yeah, I spent $10. If I had to write this off completely and just I supported an artist, that's fine. But I'd love to use this work. Also, I think this work is great. So it's not just like, but anyway, regardless, money aside, like I bought this, I want to use it. I cannot come up with an idea for Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. The assets set themselves up very nicely for making an RTS or a tower defense game or maybe a tactics game. Like it's all there. You can totally envision a game from this, but how do we make it work for Stuck in a Broken Tutorial? And I just have not come up with anything that has struck me as a great idea. The closest I got was I wanted to implement Smash Bros. Style mechanics. So instead of having a life bar above enemies, you would see a percentage. And as it rises, you get sent farther and farther away when you got attacked. So eventually you'd see this character's like ping pong all around and fall into the water. And then that's it. They wouldn't exist anymore. So yeah, they just like in Smash, when you get knocked off the stage, you're done. Or well, knocked far enough off the stage. In this case, it'd be in the water. So that it just doesn't, it's not quite right for this game. So yeah, I still got to think about how I'm going to do this stuff. So this game would be more of a puzzle game. More of a puzzle game than anything else. There are some mechanics, sure, but they're pretty basic. And this is more about figuring out the password screen. Third is how many. Yeah. I guess idea. Some numbers can control the size of the world or the size of a gap. You should be able to cross it without an enemy being able to. But that sort of thing, we need an asset pack. We have a couple, I gotta probably track these a little bit better. I've got some asset packs that I didn't really care to buy, but that came inside of bundles. I don't know if any of these are like that. What was that called? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you can just add it directly, but maybe the characters would be useful. Playing Deadlock at the moment, so communication will be slow. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think all the artwork would be helpful. What is this one again? Oh yeah, I already looked at that. Yeah, I still gotta figure out that card game too at some point. Wonder if I should just prototype it. A rock, paper, scissors game. Dude, there's something else I could have sworn I had bought. Let me check. Maybe it's inside the... Maybe it's inside here. Someone had made some other style of asset. Yeah, this one. This is what I was thinking of. I don't think it'd be super fun, but yeah, something like this is kind of what I was talking about, where you have a password screen beforehand and you chose a 5 somewhere, so it made 5 coins, and a 1, so it made 1 health potion, and something would control the number of enemies there are. I otherwise don't see much of a need for this particular asset pack that I got. Have I downloaded this? Pixel World. This is by this person. Oh, yeah, Pixel World. There it is. All right, let's open this. Characters. All right, so these are all just palette swaps. Yeah, so they basically have 2 unique characters, and then was a GMS. I guess just split up. GMS might stand for Game Maker Studio or something. Enemies. They got slimes, are all just palette swaps. I-10s. Man, the number of asset packs that say I-10s in it instead of items. Kind of surprised. I wonder if it's the word items in another language. Level layout. Yeah, so there's not much more. I thought there might be something in here that they didn't show on the screen, but they mostly show it all. Yeah, they mostly show it all. Okay. This doesn't strike me as a super fun idea, just to be clear. It's just an idea. The password thing, I mean. Because once you figure out what the numbers are, it's just a matter of bouncing back and forth. It's like playing Spot the Differences. I like the idea of solving a puzzle like that, though. Yeah. All right, well, what else do we have here? What about general mechanic ideas? I don't know, that's not super helpful, I guess. All right, something to parody Breakout. I want to look at this from the lens of how do we use that Tiny Swords bundle? Where is the Tiny Swords bundle? Was it Command Shift A to do this? Tiny Swords, nice, nice. I remember Chrome shortcuts that I haven't used in months. Yeah. So what if you turn this into Breakout? Like you control a tower and you bounce knights off of each other. You know, there is actually something to be said for that. Like, what happens if they get close enough to an enemy, instead of just being a ball that bounces off of a block, they could attack, enter an attack animation, or like shoot as they're moving around. It could be kind of interesting. I might as well write it down. Tiny Swords could be a Breakout style game. The characters are the like the ball, and they attack when they get close to something. What other ideas did I have listed over here? pinball. A loading screen is not actually loading anything. Talent tree game. It's amazing. You have to find the shortest path to the exit. Let's take a look at this. It says like a billion icons in it. It truly is like a billion icons. Are these AI? I don't recall this one either. More information. No generative AI was used. Okay. Yeah, there are so many of these, and you can just very easily slap these into a talent tree or something and be like, I don't know, extra sword attacks or extra arrows shot from a bow. But I was thinking one where there isn't really an actual game going on behind it. Again, I don't want to turn every game into an incremental game, but it could also be kind of interesting that you only control like a talent tree and enemies are just battling each other. And you have to figure out how to like maximize your DPS or something. I think those are optimization games. I think they're fun for certain people, but I don't think it'd be like globally appealing or anything. But yeah, man, they've got like just so many icons. Is this all of them? I think this is a small icon pack that it continues. Huh. Interesting. Skill tree alike. The thing is, in Path of Exile, you're controlling a character's skills. If all you had is the skill tree, like there need to be some battling going on. And then, yeah, what's the purpose? Is it to optimize the skill tree and get the highest DPS? Is it to accommodate like a situation that happens? Like, oh, we need more healing for this particular battle. TFT is basically a talent tree auto battler. I haven't played TFT, but you're probably right. Like, team fight tactics. Yeah, I guess you're picking your loadout or something and eight players who construct teams to fight one another and be the last player standing. Players randomly match against another player or computer controlled enemies. Battle of the two teams. Each stage has 7 rounds. After round 3, players participate in a carousel event. Free shared rotation of units with random equipped items to select from. More units of a tribe, the better effect you get. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really played a game like this. I played Monadic Bind Seedborn Soldiers, but I played back before there was a tutorial or anything, and I didn't understand that mechanic. But yeah, this is an auto battle. I like that. Yeah, do I like that idea of there just being some brawl going on and you're controlling the talents for any particular character in it? Could that be tiny swords? We're trying to fit all the different shapes into the square slot here. The tiny sword slot. What goes in here? I don't think so. And I think you'd want to see this like play out in a certain way, like different battle animations and stuff. There's probably some asset pack on itch that would be good for this. If we just go to game assets, pixel art, 2D, and let's just look at that. What is this? What is this? I've seen this person's stuff before somewhere. Did I buy something from them? What else do they have? Oh, this. I just added them to my credits. That's why I recognize the name. I use this 400 sounds pack. What is this? God, this looks so similar to Link's Awakening. Yeah, so similar. I mean, I get if you're making a game look like a Game Boy game or Game Boy Color, there's only probably so much you can do. It's like if you're making fish for a farming game, there's so many different like fish styles you can come up with to fit into small sprites. And they're probably supposed to look like real fish at some point. Anyway, what I wanted to see is there some sort of like some battle pack? By the way, did they add anything onto this? Is there some sort of battle pack that has like a bunch of characters and animations? When was this last updated? 70 days ago. Okay. I already bought that one a while ago. Tiny RPG asset pack. Idle, walk, flying, attack, block, hurt, death. Yeah, so I think this is kind of cool for enemies where you don't need them to do a whole lot. Just have an attack or 2 attacks or something. I was wondering if there's anything I could find that has a character with like 12 different attacks. Now, I guess even if we do that, we need to make it in the style of Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. Also, I have not done something with this style of game. I don't have anything planned like this. Like a turn-based move around a dungeon kind of game. And I'm not a huge fan of these assets. How much are these? Oh, they're just totally free. Usually they have like a pay enough and you get a certain thing. Wow, I'm surprised they even let you use it in commercial projects. Why wouldn't they charge for this? Huh. Strange. It's well rated and everything too. And they've even provided updates and everything too. Yeah, well. Have they made a bunch of other packs on here? That's it. That's the one pack they made. Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's more impressive knowing that. How many attack animations they have here? Attack 1, attack 2, attack 3. What's the difference? Sword, spear. I don't know what that is because I can't see. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Air attacks, casting. Oh, here we go. We can kind of see what it is. It's an axe. Yeah, a few different weapons. What was a game I played a long time ago? Shining Soul 2. How did this game work? I only vaguely remember it. Let's click this one. They say what their attacks were: Rod, Demon Breath, Venom, Darkness, Morph, Dagger Dance, Drain, and Meditate. Well, there's no more details than that, huh? How do you... I want to remember what these things did. Three weapons and 3 items at the same time. I really liked this game. Playable characters. Yeah, do they show their abilities here? Oh, is this the same wiki? Oh, I thought it was different. Never tried Shining Soul. Yeah, this is pretty neat. This was a Game Boy Advance game, I think. Yeah, Game Boy Advance game. Had a lot of playtime in it. Character guide. I just want to remember how combat worked in this game. Sword attacks and a slashing motion straight in front of you. Charge attack is a wide charging slash. Spear is a simple jabbing weapon. I think this was multiplayer as well. I remember there being some weirdness about that. Yeah, I've looked through so many of these asset packs so many times. And I don't want to look through all of them again. I just want to see if something stood out to me as matching what I'm looking for right now. Is there something in here? No. Evil Wizard 2. Yeah, I don't. Infinite Asset Vault? What is this? $190. Contains all assets. It's a one-time purchase. Receive all assets plus lifetime updates to any of the content I ever release. God, I love all the checkboxes here. It works with everything. You get everything. 10 trillion assets. 400,000 environments. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, the price is eye-watering, but is there a way to just see the individual asset packs? Probably through here. I just want to look at like one of these a little bit closer up. Maybe I'm not seeing the ones that maybe just this one, whatever. Yeah, it's not bad. Oh, that's a cool effect. Huh. Hey, Bear Rugs, huge fan of Lime Zoo's stuff. I think I have Lime Zoo's stuff in my game already. I recognize the name. Did they make that? Lime Zoo. Yeah, what did I use them for here? Office and interiors. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Modern office. There. Yeah, I used the office already. I bought the interiors, but I didn't use that yet. How much did I pay for that, by the way? $1.50. Okay. Yeah. But these other ones I think would be harder for me to use. Yeah. I think the prices are pretty reasonable here. But like this, for example, is just a bunch of weapons. I wonder if we should make a game though where it's a character that's just sort of detached from the weapon, so they just kind of like swing the weapon instead of needing a specific animation for doing that. Maybe we could make a game like that. You just keep equipping more and more weapons until you have them all equipped at once. That could be kind of interesting. I should write that down. I have it somewhere over here. Equipping. Yeah. Another route we could take with this is to make a Rayman style character that doesn't need specific attack animations. Then use a pack like this of just weapons. You can equip as many as you want, but you may not realize that you can do that. So when you press the attack button, it slashes out with like 15 plus weapons. It'd be kind of funny if it chained it too. So like imagine a sword connected to another sword. So you just like attack with one sword and it's like a whip of swords. Might be kind of neat to chain all of the weapons on top, or like end to end, that you attack with a whip made out of axes and swords. Hey Goose. It's always fun to say hey Goose. I always find it fun enough that I don't ever say anything afterward. I hope you're doing well. I use this person's artwork. This is our platformer game, right? Yeah, Pixel Frog. Oh wait. Wait. They made Treasure Hunters too? Wow. Well, we're planning on using pretty much all of their stuff, except for this one. Is Nice bomb graphic, though. All right, I guess I will put a reference to this in the Tetris game that we talked about. Tetris. Where's the game that I have written down here? Here it is. Could also use this bomb. There's a boss on a platform opposite you. The obvious solution to beat the boss is equip the bow nearby. But every time you fire, it breaks. The way to reach the boss is keep equipping the swords. Each new sword equipped attached to the end of the previous sword, giving you the range to beat the boss, or to reach the boss. Yeah, well, I think it'd be cool to, like, you're playing through sort of an action RPG and you're just slashing with your sword, right? And you're killing enemies, and it's kind of like the Dungeon Racer game at first. But then you equip a second sword, and now you're attacking with two swords and it's farther away. And so on and so forth. All right, I really do like that space shooter idea. I think that's pretty cool. And I guess all we need is enough of a backlog of games that I can pursue. Next games I want to pursue. So yeah. These have all been done. I'm going to just delete all these. So checkpoint 3. Maybe the space shooter. Yeah, I think the space shooter could be there. The joke card game for sure. Joke card game. Oh, did that work? What just happened? I don't think that did work. Joke card game. Yeah, there we go. All right, what else have I written down here? Tetris game. Tetris game, I need to prototype still. But yeah, Tetris Minor. We'll figure something out for it. Oops. All right, what else did I have written down? Hue Slider game, joke card game, QT Battler. Yeah, let's talk about the QT Battler in a second. Where's the Hue Slider game? Here it is. Hue Slider game. All right, and then what else did I say? QuickTime Event Battler. Yeah, let's go take a look at that. Tiny RPG. I'm pretty sure I bought this, right? I didn't? Oh, no, there it is. Purchase for $8.80. Whew. I was going to say, because now it's $16. Idle, walking, slashing, piercing, punching, bow, pistol, using an item or spell. Gotta say, they got a pretty good amount of animations here. All right, so it's a turn-based battle, but each turn you have to input a series of button presses to control the power of the abilities. Wait a second, what? There's supposed to be more to it than that. This just sounds like a game. Okay, well, we got to develop that a little bit more. Like I said, I already bought these assets, so let's go find them. Who's the person who did this? This person? Yeah. Hey, Magnus. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Battle chars. All right, so we got a bat. We got this thing. Looks kind of like a... Is that a dog? No, it's a person. Okay, it's got like a dog head. They got a fighter. They got a healer. Mage. A mushroom. Noble. Slime. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Terror Treant. Warhound. Okay, so they got a bunch of characters. Backgrounds. Just palette swap versions of 2 of these and the planes. So they got 3 different backgrounds, and that's an RMK. What is that? What is that? What is it called? I don't know what that's supposed to be. Cave, I guess? Oh, they just split out the layers from the other ones? I don't know. I'm not totally sure. All right, GUI, what do we have here? And a bunch of different things. We can probably find a use for that. I want to look at their spells and everything now. Barrier, axe, bubble, claw. These are pretty good. I like the artwork. Yeah. And weapons. Interesting. Okay. Readme.html. All right, sure. So, yeah, we should probably talk about this for a little bit. The QTE Battler hasn't really been fleshed out yet. I'd originally wanted it to be a rhythm game. Then I wanted it to be a... Wasn't there supposed to be some like real-time battler too? Did I drop that somewhere? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Did I drop that? I don't even have real-time written anywhere in here. I had some idea where it looked like a turn-based battle, but then you could pick an option and it would put you into like an action RPG almost. And you could just go kill the enemies. I mean, we can still do that, but where did that go? Didn't I write a note about that? Turn-based? Ah, fake turn-based battler. Keyword real-time. Okay, what I looked for was real-time. So we'll do that. All right, assets probably this, but I was looking at this for inspiration. Oh, that's why I bought this. So the QuickTime event thing isn't really a thing anymore, is it? Also, this doesn't come with a font, does it? Nope. All right. Hey, Tim. What game am I working on? Yeah, Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. It is really a collection of other games. So I'm trying to design some of those other games. Right now, we already have 5 games. But I want there to be like 15 to 20. So I've got some pretty good ideas for another... I lost the link. All right, well, anyway, I'll put it here. I got some pretty good ideas for another like 4 or 5, maybe even more than that. But yeah, the more I can come up with, the better. So this QuickTime event thing is not actually a game that I really planned out. This was hardly planned. We need this to be more obviously broken. Are there any screens or the project? It's only on my computer for right now, so I can show you quickly. So here's the start of the game. You start on a platformer. You can jump, you can double jump, you can dash. And like I said, it's called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. The part where you see that this game is broken is here. You try to collect the diamonds, and you fall through the world. And this is what kicks off your whole, like, oh, okay, I'm starting to see what this game is about. We gotta make this look a little bit more broken than it currently is, I guess. And yeah, you work your way over to the side over here. Let's make it over here. Oh, I forgot I changed the dash direction. Oh my god. I've not gotten used to that. So yeah, you go from game to game. How are the reactions to the big fall been so far in playtesting? So usually there's like an exclamation. It's not usually too much. I was saying that the person who playtested yesterday gave me some feedback saying that I should really like ratchet up the intensity of how broken everything is. So when you do fall in the platformer, instead of it just being like untextured background, it should probably be source code, for example. And yeah, that would probably get more of a reaction out of people. So I think I am going to do something like that. But in general, people have been liking the game. They've been liking the music. So yeah, anyway, this is what I was talking about, Tim. There are a lot of different sub games here, and they all play differently, and they have different gimmicks and different ways of being broken. So this one's more like a Zelda game at first, but then it changes into another kind of game completely. Yeah, I know. I spent a lot of time on it, but it's fine. I got to do what's best for the game. Haven't said it's a game's a work in progress, but agreed. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of it's not intentional. Like the gray background in the Dungeon Racer game is not supposed to be a gray background. It's probably just supposed to be a darker background to indicate that it's like you're in a dungeon. So yeah, I'm gonna do some of that stuff probably in the coming months as well. We should probably say that that's part of the checkpoint. Make X new sub games. Ratchet up the brokenness of the existing ones. Hello and a half. Hey, Remy. All right, so the fake turn-based battler, we could do this. General idea, you're thrown into a turn-based battle with actions. Every action other than run will eventually cause you to lose. Run puts you into real-time mode where you can freely attack and cast spells. Yeah, I like this idea. I don't think this is a very crazy game. And by the way, if this is like game number 8, you might see this menu and be like, all right, I'm going to pick run because I know this is a broken tutorial. Or maybe there's a certain magic spell, like free movement or something. Maybe what's happening, what's supposed to. Yeah. I think we got to do that. In fact, when it comes to Dungeon Racer, I want a different clear color. I should set up the code for this, but dark can pick it, or maybe I can even pick it. I don't know. And I want actually, do I want anything else different there? I'm not even sure. I want the floors to be a bit more varied and for more doodads to be placed. I should probably just do this stuff myself though, because there's enough work with the other sub games already. Okay, what are we looking at then? I like this idea quite a lot. Yeah. For those who didn't hear me talking about it, it would be something like this. You're in a battle scene, here are your characters, here are the enemies, and you pick attack and you attack. You pick who you're attacking, you see their life drop. But you can't win that way. You have to go down to run or something like that. And when you pick run, now you can like freely move and you just go over and start hitting them. I think it's one of those, like, it would just be kind of a short joke, really. This is probably more for the sake of a short joke. Maybe you have to destroy the UI itself to carve out a new game somehow. Wouldn't take too long to figure out. All right, I got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll just keep still trying to design some of this stuff. Is it jump time? I gotta figure out why that isn't working. Is it jump time? It's jump time. again. Close the game. Hey, Phaedric. Okay. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty short game. I want to come up with one more slightly longer game. I think the Tetris Miner thing could be that. You know what I got to figure out? What is the average gameplay length? Look through checkpoint to playthroughs and figure out what the average playtime is for each individual sub game. Want to vary lengths at some point by changing the order of games around. So what do we have planned right now for this? The space shooter, the card game, Tetris Miner, the Hue Slider game. These are all pretty short, except for maybe the Tetris Miner one. That could be a bit longer. I think we need one other like long-ish game. What do I have for tower defense here? I never actually finished this. U85. All of the ones with U should just jump straight up. If you want it to be a different direction, I think you need to use left or right. But yeah, you can just type R to jump to the right, RR to jump a little bit farther, and RR to jump even farther. Yeah. There are lots of different ways you can control it. There's a little bit of a guide in Jump Royale GitHub repo. Okay, so yeah, I think we need one more like longish game. You can change the velocity. You can, but it's not something people do very often. So like if you just wanted to hop barely upward, you could do it. It's just there's no real point in doing that. What else do we have here? I want to archive some of these. Whoops. How do you rename this? Archived subgames. Overview. These are games that I've already made. I want to keep this around in case we want to consult this for rationale or ideas. So just repeatedly banging your head. Oh yeah, that would work too, I guess. Yeah. Advanced techniques. All right, so we're going to move a lot of these out of here. Let's start with the first platformer. That is definitely done now. The Architect's Realm, that's done. What else have we done? Loot boxes. Yeah, I don't want this document being so long. Medieval Dungeon Racer, that's done too. Man, these had a lot of writing here. Maybe that's my maybe that's my tell. Like the more I have written here, the more I actually designed it and figured out how long the game should be. Whereas these other ones that I've done, I'm just kind of throwaway. All right, what else do we have? Maximum chickens. Is this what turned into? No. Okay. Platform. Why is this tabbed in, by the way? I don't have a game idea for this. This is just assets I like. Oh yeah, I do like this. I wonder if we could come up with a game for this one. $275. That's not bad. What does that give you? I don't understand. Version 5.2. It's only 51 kilobytes though. This is also 51 kilobytes. I don't know. I don't know what buying this gives you. Yeah, I don't know. Well, whatever. If I were to use this, I'd probably buy it anyway, even if I don't have to buy it. But I don't have a game idea for it. But I don't want to think about that stuff yet. I just want to pull some of these out of here that I'd already done. Top-down shooter, yeah, this one's already done. Yeah, again, this has a lot written down here. Like, maybe I'm not doing granular enough design. I don't know. Take care, DevZone. Thanks for being here. Hope you have a good night, too. Do we have anything else? There should only be one other game, right? Well, I guess the farming game. Yeah, these two. All right. Cool. So this was one of the things that was on my list. Now we can cross it off. Archive. Done. Oh, hey, I didn't talk about this enough. Oh, this could be one that we use for checkpoint 3, and this could be one of the longer ones. Maybe it's as you destroy enemies, you get experience points or something. Do they have UI for this? They probably do. All in one. Ooh, that's a beefy one. Because it contains practically everything else. All right, characters, hero, items, tile set. I don't see UI in here. I don't think they have UI. If they do, I don't see it here. Oh, wait, what's this? Survival kit premium? This is probably something different. Oh yeah, this is totally different. And what do we have in here? Some beds, boxes. There is very little to work with in this. I don't really plan on using that though, but that doesn't matter. Let's go back to this one for a bit. Characters. Okay. Hero. Hero archer, base body, bow and projectile. Oh my goodness, this is going to take forever to do. Items, armor. Whoa. Whoa. What in the world? Are you supposed to put this on the character? I would like to know more. Because I don't know where those even came from. Yeah, here it is. Check the assets here. Comprehensive guide. Yeah, here it is. So armor. Is this supposed to be put onto the characters? 41 items. Oh, in my language, we say I-10s. I was just wondering about that earlier because I see this typo in a lot of different places. Huh. Okay, well, yeah, I don't think you're supposed to use these on the characters, right? I just don't get it though. What do they intend for you to do with this? Maybe they have, yeah, weapons. Look at all these. I mean, they look great. I really like them. But yeah, the only thing I could think is that they're just arbitrary inventory items that are supposed to represent that you're getting more powerful or something. But like, they didn't even give me a character with an axe, did they? Characters. Knight. What is the knight holding? A sword. The mage has a staff. The skeleton has normal, archer, and warrior variants. Normal is nothing? What is that in their hand? A shield. Warrior has a sword. Archer presumably has a bow. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what you're supposed to do with these other things, like an axe that you get. All right, well, whatever. No UI. I don't need to worry about that too much, I guess. Oh, wait, what's all this? Oh my God, really? They put like a million different kinds of armor you could get? Oh man. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy. I would love to see these actually like built out. Oh, this is nuts. Yeah, this is nuts. Fighter. This has melee attacks? What? First stream of the day I'm watching. Hey, Galaxy Inferno. We've come up with a bunch of little game ideas. Trying to come up with some more ideas now. And I've got one that I'm working on. I'm calling it the growth platform for now. The idea is that you would go through fighting enemies. So imagine something like this. So you might jump up here, maybe you can double jump or something and slash this enemy and get like an experience point. And when you get 10 experience points, your character just gets bigger. So maybe now you take up like the entirety of this and you actually wouldn't be able to move through this hallway. So maybe at that point you can start like slashing through the walls or something. I'm not sure what. But eventually you would like outgrow the stage entirely. Yeah, I gotta put some more thought into this. So like questions when you outgrow the passages in the current world, what happens? Maybe you can only grow at checkpoints based on how much experience you have. That way we can tailor it around your size. Alternatively, maybe you can slash through the world and destroy blocks of a certain size. Oh yeah, I love the assets. I am really really happy with this particular purchase. Then again, I haven't tried using everything yet. And after looking through the assets, one of the problems is that this character, I believe, is formed out of like 6 different sprites. I'm not totally sure, but it looks like you're supposed to combine like the armor, the bow, the skin color, just everything. And there's no just like, here's an asset that you can use. But whatever, we'll figure that out later. Yeah. I hope it's not super tedious. Okay. Wait, they have that mushroom enemy, right? It would be kind of interesting if you killed the mushroom or you like ate the mushroom or something. What do we have here? Oh my god, they got like 4 different varieties of mushroom. Oh, hey, they have a sheet for that at least. Yeah, these are just palette swaps. But they have different kinds of mushrooms? Wow, really? That's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. And wouldn't you know it, they have a red one. I mean, if we want to do a Mario reference, we could have it so that these are what make you grow. But I don't want to do something too close to Mario. I don't think it's a good idea. Tile set. We have a bunch of the. Oh my god, they have so many of these. Yeah, so many of these. This artwork might not work for verticality. The parallax here looks very minimal. And the problem with if you were to grow is that you would change the like the parallax here is that there are trees in the background. If you got to be like 10 times the size that you currently are, those wouldn't really be in the background anymore. We might not want to use that particular asset pack, maybe. Platformer. Might be hard to do this with any platforming pack. I mean, I still want to try it. Yeah, it might be easier with something simple like this. Like a more cartoonish looking thing. Something's wrong. Like, it never shows any more assets than just this one page of them. And I know there are other ones that should match here. Maybe I'm missing something. What if I click Windows here? I know we talked about this a while ago. I think this is something that happened for everybody. It's like it can only show this many results. Weird. Yeah, weird. Pixel art. Platformer. This shows as many results as we need. Yeah, like this should have shown up in that other result. It didn't. I like these assets. But yeah, there should be quite a lot of platformer assets, right? This is what we use for Jump Royale. Oh, well. Would you look at that? They have a lot of different tile sets for this. Tropical Island tile set. And this is part of a bundle too. They're all like buy 3, get 1 free. But within a certain category. This looks pretty good though. Yeah, maybe I'll put a link to this. All right, so the assets, it probably makes more sense to use these assets. They're the Jump Royale characters, but there are a bunch of tile sets too. I think they do a better job at showing off the scale of the characters. So we got to split this into 2 different things. We got to have that there, and we got to put this up here. And then delete this. Okay. 7 streams. That's a week. Thank you, Galaxy Inferno, for watching. All right, so I think I've regressed a little bit here. I think we need to come up with something different for this. This is where I wonder if we should go with the whole prototype first design. You know, I just slap together like this scene, and then we just see how it feels, what we do, what sounds right. The only idea that I had specific to this pack is that you could play as either a skeleton or an archer, and you could swap between the 2 forms at will, and things that hurt you in one form wouldn't hurt you in the other. So it'd be like Ikaruga mechanics in a platformer. I don't think it's a great idea. Yeah, I think it's good enough, you know? So we got to come up with something that's a little bit better than that. Sims game, what is this? Oh, the character creator thing? There could be some tie-in with WoW here. Let's see, miss one at least. Yeah, hey Sakurai. Character switch idea feels like it would need intricate level design. What I was thinking is something like spikes wouldn't hurt you as a... You can't see this. Never mind. Spikes wouldn't hurt you as a skeleton, but they would hurt you as a human. And grass would hurt you as a skeleton, but would not hurt you as a human. So there'd have to be places where you're switching mid jump. I'm not sold on the idea to begin with, but even if I were sold on the idea, I think it'd be very difficult to make it balance for the variety of player skill levels we'll have. So even in the very first platformer we already have in the game, there are people who kind of struggle to make the double jumps. And they're typically people who don't play a lot of video games. So like press A to jump. Okay, everyone can do this. That part's fine. This part's fine. You can jump up here. You can jump up here. Then they get to this part, and I see a lot of like this happening. And they're like, how am I supposed to make it up there? They're not like stuck. They realize there must be a way, but they just don't have the coordination to do this. And I saw at least 2 people who played kind of struggle with this, which is why I put this platform over here. So now I think without even double jumping, no, you do need to double jump, but it's at least very forgiving. That's why I put the platform on the right. So like if I make a precision platformer section, or I require you to like, oh, you got to change forms in the air and then land on the grass or something. I don't think people would be able to do it. Making it abuse proof is a problem. I'm not sure I understand what you mean, but I don't think that would be too much of a problem for this. Well, people that typically don't play video games would be able to find your game in Steam to purchase it? Yeah, I think so. Like, at least one of the people I'm talking about, I think she would call herself a gamer. She just said, like, I'm really bad at platformers. Now, I don't think she would probably buy a platformer, maybe like a Mario game, but I don't think she'd seek one out on Steam. But she might buy this game knowing that it's not just a platformer. Yeah. All right, so I'm kind of back to not having any ideas. 2 things I want to have ideas for. What if it's a loop? What if you go through all these different things? They're just connected, one right next to another. So you go from this like dungeon thing, you go right off the right side, and it's connected to this right now, and it's just a giant rectangle. And not that it's endless. There's some way to break out of this, and you need to figure out how to break out of it. Also, what's going on right now? I try to keep the today command up to date. I'm designing sub games for Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. So yeah, last time you were here, this is still the same game I'm working on. It's just a different sub game now. And I bought this pack already, and I bought, wait, what happened to my, I bought this pack and I bought tiny swords here, this one. I bought both of these. I don't have any like fantastic ideas for it or anything. Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this graphic. Interesting. Oh, because it doesn't even show on this page, does it? It's only when you're on the mobile view. Huh, that's interesting. Out of curiosity, let me just see really fast. Where is this in the DOM? Yeah, it's just like gone. Huh, interesting. Display is at the block. Yeah, I just don't know where it is. All right, well, whatever. All right, should we even go back to this? Should I just look through the other ideas that I had here? I don't know. Game where you play as the spikes or traps and have to make sure the main character dies or can't complete the level. Okay, that's pretty funny. I mean, we will have several games where you play as something you don't expect to play as, like the game where you play as a hue slider. Yeah, playing as spikes. You're chasing down this character you're supposed to kill. Maybe you could also play as enemies. I'm not sure. I still like the bench game idea. Oh yeah. I definitely like that. We don't have just off the shelf graphics for that though, which is why I haven't put a lot of thought into it. Yeah. It's basically no damage boosting. The spikes thing, I think we're probably talking about two different things here, but I was thinking like you would be the spikes right here, and when you could move right and like hurt this player, and then it'd say like, okay, mission accomplished, and you move to another thing, and now you're like the skeleton, and you have to attack the player. Yeah, especially the intro, someone sitting on a bench, dialogue going up, getting ready to go, walking off, camera doesn't follow them, controls get enabled without telling the player. The way I was thinking of revealing it would be that you have a character selector and there is a mage on a bench, there's a rogue near a bench, and there's a warrior in front of a bench. And when you pick one, it makes that character like maybe it makes them leave, but it just selects the bench. And it's like, oh, you chose the mahogany bench. I really think that would be funny. And then the gameplay would actually be semi interesting. Yeah, I think this is a good idea. All right, you give it an energy meter every time you talk to an NPC or energy drains. You got a game where you play a sidekick. Hmm. Hmm. You go to click on a link, but the page loads at the same time, shifts, you end up clicking on an ad. Yeah, exactly. You don't realize what you're picking the whole time. And we can show stats like rogue, 4 attack, 7 dexterity. You're like, oh, that sounds cool. Look at their special abilities and stuff. I just love those ideas. I gotta write that down if I don't already have that written down. Yeah, or sitting on benches or are near them. Yeah, we could show a character's like ability icons, even though they don't actually exist. It just says abilities, icon 1, icon 2, icon 3, with no way to see their descriptions. Oh man. Oh, when your task is the bench is to help a dog get up to the table where dinner's set. It's going to be just to provide comfort for townsfolk. You could represent the amount of health the bench has as by the length of its legs. Each time it takes damage, it gets shorter and shorter. Well, what I was picturing is that there are weary villagers, and you are supposed to go act as a seat for them. And you can later upgrade and get like better furniture and comfy chairs and a fireplace. Actually, the fireplace is a good idea. There could be other upgrades for comfort, fire, a campfire. What else? Trying to think if I'm going like camping. I want a nice place to sit. I want a campfire. They already have houses, so they don't need like a tent or something. Maybe food. Yeah, food, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I don't think I want to do this yet. I had an idea for the tile set we could use because there are some chairs here. I guess these would suffice as benches. And this is kind of what I was thinking. There'd be villagers that would come out and they'd walk around and you need to sneak up behind them and they'd be like, oh, where'd this bench come from? And then they sit down on it for a little bit. You see their fatigue recover. Maybe you see their health fill slowly as they sit. That way you know when they're done. Maybe there's a nudge button that convinces them to get off of you without letting them know you're sentient. Maybe there's a love story and you fall in love with another bench or a couch or something. Oh my god. It's got to be a couch. Yeah, an epoxy upgrade or something. Yeah. I don't want to think about this too much right now. I wanted to do something else, but yeah. All right. What can we let's go look back at the ideas that we had here. Fishbowl game of some sort. RPG ring of having 30 rings. I think that's a cool idea. This is similar to the equipping a bunch of stuff game. Let me write this down. ZZZ. Equipping. Another take on this is the RPG ring idea. All right, let's go back to this. Yeah, so the white whales that I've had so far are the Tiny Swords game, the Dagon set, and the card game idea. And I've talked about the card game idea a bunch. I've got sort of an idea. You collect these creatures, which are actually cards, so it's like a Pokemon card game, but the actual battling is just like a rock, paper, scissors, and each creature has a different ratio of rock to paper to scissors. So strategy-wise, there's not a crazy amount to learn. Yeah, how do players overcome any difficulty that exists? And should we expand this strategy at all? But yeah, those are the games I want to plan a little bit more. This one was kind of cool. This is like a vampire survivors game where you're trying not to be too powerful because you're killing villagers. I don't want to do any AI stuff in the game. Yeah, people have been suggesting that for a while, and I'm trying to stay as far away from that as possible. It's like AI can be used to make the game, but I don't want it to be a topic in the game. Yeah. Maybe the bad guy town is switching out benches for hostile architecture. I think that's a level we don't need to get to exactly, but yeah, if we ever expand on this, we could say that as a lore reason somewhere. Yeah. All right, so I do want to get back to this. I want to think of something here, just something. Oh, it just can't keep eluding me. All right, here it is. Okay, update. It's later now. I want to take another stab at this. So let's close everything else that I have open right now. So yeah, here are the assets. Again, great artwork. Pretty much set up for a tower defense game. Now, how do we make it broken? Given that everything is taking place on the water, I think it should involve water in some way. Given the islands and the splash animation, I think I still wanted to involve water in some way. Hey, Mesrulus, which is that keyboard? This is a Korn keyboard. Yeah, so this has 36 keys. It's wired, it's split into two halves. It's got LEDs, but I only have them working on the left side now. And I really like the effect of pressing them and seeing a trail of color behind. But yeah, it doesn't work on the right half, so I just leave them off. Okay, how else can we do this though? Can we come up with a way for it to involve broken mechanics without changing genres? We would lean into what the pack is made for. tower defense, or an RTS. The RTS thing that I'm saying is there are trees and there's gold mining. Like, this to me suggests resource management. You don't have to do this, of course. And also they're animals and you can get meat. But yeah, in a tower defense, you typically just get money by killing enemies. What if it started out with kind of none of this? Like, what if we just had the terrain and you're just walking around and collecting gold? You are on an island and you're collecting gold and bringing it back to your town. As you do, more buildings get built up. Showboat, happy half year. Thanks for the sub. Hey, Ziga. There's RTS and tower defense. There's resource management and attacking. I mean, in a simplified way for this game, it pretty much is. We're not talking about making like a 5-hour long game. We're talking about making like a 15-minute long game. And at that point, I think unless resource collection is fun or it's some like lead into something else, it's probably just complexity that we don't need. So yeah, I gotta think about that too. Or to your like main building, I guess. What would be your main building here? Probably just that, your town hall. Yeah. These vertical tabs, yeah, Chrome just added this pretty recently in like public availability. I think they had some Chrome flag behind this before, but if you just at the top, if you right click and go to show tabs vertically, you get to look this way and you can hide this bar like that. So I think it's pretty nice. Most people have wider monitors than they are tall, unless you rotated it. So taking up extra space with your tab bar is not the best. The problem is when you try splitting things like this, you know, you have two Chrome windows side by side and you're like, oh man, I'm taking up a lot of space now with this. So now you need to collapse this. And then when you stop doing it, you need to like expand it again. There's probably a shortcut for that. There is not. But I guess since it's on Mac OS, you could probably... never mind. If it's in one of these bars, you should be able to do it. But yeah, anyway, I'm trying it out. I like it so far. I think it's nice. Also, the other thing that's kind of nice is if you do have this in horizontal mode, you can see that just 3 tabs take up what? Almost half the screen, right? Like 4 tabs is now past the halfway point. So I can fit what? 5, 6, 7. 7. And then it starts to get smaller and smaller for each tab. And then you can't read the tab titles anymore. When you got them vertically arranged, well, I guess you can always just expand or contract this. In fact, that's probably what I should do. I don't know why it was as big as it was to begin with. So, yeah. Dark Reader, I've had that on since probably literally starting to follow you back in 2019. Yeah, Dark Reader is pretty nice. I like it a lot. But yeah, every once in a while it does mess with a website. All right, so let's say you were collecting gold and you brought it back to your town hall and you collect more gold and you bring it back to your town hall and then you see another building pop up. I don't know, maybe it's a barracks or something. Maybe things get out of control. Maybe this is like you're just doing what you thought was right and now your town is a burgeoning war town. As you more buildings get built up, troops get created, an entire battle plays out around you with invading enemies. You can still only harvest gold though. It's screwed up on our receipt page, yeah. At least if you're aware that it can happen, you know that, okay, that's a potential thing I got to fix myself. But every once in a while, you just think, this site looks really bad. You don't realize it's because of the Dark Reader. I don't think this would be fun. Yeah, I don't think this would be fun. Seeing a town get built around you sounds interesting. But I think you'd want some impact on that. Or to impact that. maybe it gets carried away with or without you at some point. Your town hall hires another pawn and they start harvesting. And now it doesn't matter whether you harvest or not. The town is going to head toward war. Towers are attacking your villagers, and you have to destroy your own towers. One of the issues I have with the artwork here is that the towers actually have no way of attacking. They're literally just towers. So the only way to make them attack is to put an archer on top and have them shoot from the top of it. So it wouldn't sell that the towers are sentient or something, right? They've gone rogue. I mean, we could still do that idea of like the archers are just evil. Yeah, maybe you build towers and every time you do, it's got an evil archer at the top. Yeah. Hey, Tommy. Recently, a dev on Reddit posted, playtester found out undisclosed details about future editions. Is this possible? Can Gemini leak your private information from your documents? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, there's any number of ways how that could happen, right? Like maybe the dev accidentally shared it. Maybe they shared their screen or something at one point. Maybe they did talk about it. Maybe they copy pasted it to another thing. Maybe they made a copy of the document or shared a PDF or something. Yeah. It could be anything. And it could be truly that it is what it seems like, that somehow is that dev's data was exfiltrated against their knowledge or will, and someone else got their hands on it. It could just be though that it's in their code, let's say, you know, future edition of the game, they put in their code, they hid it behind a Boolean flag, and the other person just like looked at the source code or decompiled it or something, you know? This idea is really interesting to me. Just the idea that like you start performing an action to see what happens. Like you're collecting gold. You bring it to your town, and now the town builds up a war machine. You don't approve of this, so you stop collecting gold. The town hires people to collect gold so that they don't need you. So like you triggered this set of actions that you now disapprove of, and you have no way of stopping it. So I like the idea of this, but this is more for a novel than it is for a game, I would say, or at least this game. Yeah. But it's almost like those robots, the like box that closes itself. What are those things called? Useless machine. Yeah. A box whose only function is to turn itself off. They have a GIF of this or something. Anyway, it's exactly what you imagine. There's some little thing that reaches out and just turns off the switch on it. And that's how it works. And I think it'd be kind of interesting to make a game version of this. Like the whole point was for you to not disturb nature, but you had to go and disturb nature. So nature now needs to like wipe out everything you've done and set it back to what it was. There's a switch to opt out of Gemini scanning your docs. Oh my God. If that's on by default, that's kind of crazy. I don't understand the whole opt-in by default. There's a site that I've been logging into lately that does not allow for you to have a password. So like you type in, you know, adamatexample.com, and instead of having a password field, it's just like, okay, we emailed you a link. That is fine. I don't necessarily mind, but underneath your email that you can type in, it says like, sign me up for marketing newsletters. And it's checked by default. So in order to log in on this website, you need to type in your email and uncheck the box. And should you ever check the box, then now you're on their marketing list and you got to figure out how to sign out of that. Anyway, I'll write myself a note to look into this tomorrow. See if there's some Gemini for docs thing that I have to opt out of. All right, so yeah, this idea is kind of interesting. Let's keep thinking about this stuff. What else could we do? If we leaned into tower defense, first of all, I guess there'd be a bunch of enemies, right? They'd approach in waves at some point. You need some way of defending against them. Your positioning would probably matter. Let's say we just made tower defense. You would put down towers, hire troops, maybe position them. Enemies would start to show up in waves. Hey, do they have flying enemies in here? I don't think I actually looked at that. No, none of these fly. The closest is that they have ones on boats and ones on pigs. They have no flying enemies. Well, they have plans for other enemies. Maybe those are going to be the flying ones. There's also a dragon here. We would try defending against them. So what are ways this could be broken? I mean, the idea of like letting them attack you anyway, it's pretty similar to the space shooter idea that I had. Which, by the way, that space shooter made it into checkpoint 3, right? Let me see. Yeah. Hmm. So what if, yeah, I don't want it to be like a pacifism game. You don't do anything and you still win. Should there just be some strategy here? Like how much of this should you have to be aware of or think about? Why has it been so difficult for me to figure out? Maybe it turns out the game is just all about collecting meat. It's how many sheep can you raise? Nothing else really matters. So no oriented, it's insane. Well, a lot of this is like I sometimes want to look back at what are the ideas I came up with. I have not been able to come up with something compelling for this, and I think it's because I'm going about it the wrong way. I think the right way is wait for inspiration about this idea. And the last time that inspiration struck was the Smash-like mechanics that we talked about. It just doesn't really work for this game, I think. The idea was that you'd be playing a tower defense, but instead of ever just having a life bar, every attack would increase a percentage. And based on that percent, they'd go farther and farther when they got hit. And they'd kind of like pinball around the island and then eventually get pushed off into water. And when they fall into the water, that's it. Then they're dead or gone or whatever. But I think the reason why Smash mechanics are fun in Smash is because you have such a varied skill set. You can shield, you can roll, you can grab, you can attack, you can jump, you can like your positioning matters, all this other stuff. And here we have like an attack for each character. So you got a sword swipe. That's it. You got a shield raise for this character, but that's even special because no one else has another ability. Or rarely do they. The enemies all have like one attack that they can do. So at that point, it's not the positioning or the skill of one character. It's probably that you're controlling many characters at once. Doing so with a controller is probably annoying. It also shouldn't be something that takes too long for you to learn. Yeah, it's just tough. Also described it as insane. This note commemorates Showboat. All right, what if it's not a tower defense? What if it's that like... What if it's more like that old StarCraft map? Where you put units down and they attacked each other? I guess that's what turned into auto battlers. Do we want this to be an auto battler? There would still need to be strategy if we do that. I mean, the strategy might be in how units move. Like maybe you put down one of these little hammerhead guys and it can actually take a boat across the water. But how many of them have different ways of moving anyway? You could control their speeds a little differently. These guys could ride on a pig if they see one. This reminds me of a game, Nine Kingdoms or something. Nine Kings. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of this. Because you built up a town and then you sent armies after each other. I think they just attacked each other automatically. I forgot. I played this for like one day and I forgot how you control the game. But it reminds me a little bit of that. This game did pretty well. It's nice to see when a game does well like this. I always feel a little bit bad because they're selling for $20. I think that's probably reasonable. People like the game. But I'm a little jealous because I sold Skeleseller for like 10 and people got mad. And now finally, by the way, I think this is the right price. I think we can just leave it at $7 now. No one has complained about the price in a long time. And I don't even know how to find out when the last negative price review was. Probably like this. Yeah, so June 24th. I think it was more expensive back then. I don't remember when the Steam summer sale was, though. Yeah, kind of high price back on June 15th. Yeah. Yeah, so thanks to a combination of lowering the price and the negative reviews that accrued there, I think it's stopping new people from buying the game if they're like, oh, well, it's kind of short. But the ones who do buy it aren't like, well, 7 was unreasonable. So, yeah. But this game that I'm making now, it's like, I don't know what to sell this for eventually. If it ends up being 5 hours of gameplay, can I make it $10? Like, I almost wonder if that's even going to be possible. Will there be so many games that come out on Steam that people are like, I won't even pay $10? It's why volume matters so much, because this is a ton of work, right? Like I've spent, 5 hours today just talking about game design. We haven't even coded anything about this. But I got to at some point turn this into reality, make sure it's clear to players, make sure it's balanced, make sure it's fun, put all these assets together, compose music for it. It's like I'm going to be doing this for the next 2 years. It just feels like it's devaluing for me to sell it for $6. Hey, Skeptic, do you think the price just goes to zero? I mean, I don't think it'll go to zero exactly, but I do think that we've already kind of see this play out, right? Like games in the 80s and 90s were probably worth like 200 of today's dollars or 250 or something. And now you'd be like, that's bonkers, right? You'd pay maybe 80 for a AAA game. But most games that people buy, the average price, I'm just gonna make up a number here, is probably like $13 or something, or $30 or something much lower. So I think that'll still trend downward as more and more games get created and AI makes it easier. Ivanko, I think for a game like this one, it'd be worth $15 at least. You never know. There's Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. This game is, I think, only like 4 hours long and it sells for $15 and people are super happy with that. But yeah, this is not a very long game. And by the way, that was in 2021. But like the studio made enough other games, or maybe it only made like 2 or 3, but yeah, this did well. So you look at a game like Undertale. Now remember, hindsight is 2020. We know these games are successful, but imagine you're about to release Undertale. Like you don't know what's going to be a massive hit that sells, multi-million amounts of copies. But $10 back in 2015. Like if you were making this game and you spent a couple years on it and you're about to release it, would you be like, yeah, $10 seems reasonable? Maybe not. And who knows, maybe if he priced it at $11, he'd have another $2 million or something now. I don't know. Is it difficult to make games on Mac and then ship for cross-platform? No, the process is pretty much identical to Windows. In fact, it's actually a little bit easier than Windows to ship for Mac because you need a Mac to build for Mac. Or to rent a Mac. But yeah. So it's pretty much identical. In fact, if I were on Windows, I'd be using the exact same programs. I'd be using Chrome for browsing. I'd be using Rider or VS Code for coding. I'd be using Godot as the game engine. The art program would change. I'd probably be using like Paint.net or something instead of this. But yeah, every other program is practically the same. All right, so auto battler, is there anything there? If it's going to be an auto battler, we need the units to be distinct from one another. This is what had made me think of Nine Kings. There could be stealth rogues that teleport to enemies. We could position it as more of an auto like brawl going on where there are tons of units. Still think the question is how much strategy plays into that. All right, I'm going to take one more break and then we'll take another stab at this. I think we made progress today. It's just, I just feel like I want to come up with games for this. I'll probably just need to ponder it over the next like week or two and something will strike me, I bet. But for now, is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again. Ryan, thanks for helping guide Bungo. Also, hi. Close the game. Okie dokie. So, close the game. Is this gonna listen to me? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I want to write this down somewhere. I don't have any great ideas for the Dagon set, the Tiny Sword set. Wasn't there something else? Yeah, or the Tiny Sword set. I still need to prototype the card game idea. Gemtime music. Still so nice and soothing. Yeah, I like it. I made it for Botland a long time ago. Okay. So, yeah, make some new sub games, ratchet up the brokenness, and expand the story. It's been helpful for me, Skeptic. A lot of people have commented on it over the years. I do want to try this at some point. I don't know if now is the time. I don't think it is. But maybe as we get out of... Well, maybe we can do it one of these Fridays or like next Wednesday or something. Yeah, maybe I'll do that next Wednesday. Fun tasks day. Maybe try designing by prototyping. Buy assets, throw them into Godot. See how that sparks ideas. Yeah. Okay, so this I got to think about some other time. Figure out what checkpoint 3 looks like. Let's fill out the journal. Checkpoint 3 is going to be some new games, some stories, some polish. I mean, the usual stuff. And then whatever we get out of the stabilization phase. Which is probably not going to impact players too much. Maybe it will. I want there to be a Steam page at the very least. Spent all day doing game design. I made some strides, but I wanted to find homes for the Tiny Swords and Dagon bundles. I don't feel like I did. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Oh, AI usage was 1% from some minor development tasks. Yeah, I'll file this from yesterday. Okay, well, let's look through the rest of this. So, yeah, afternoon, use AI more. I have a lot of credits. I have a bunch of tasks I can do. Oh, by the way, I got permission from Valve to make the Steam page on stream. In fact, let me read exactly what they said. They said, "Hi, Adam. Thanks for reaching out. It's generally fine to stream yourself building a store page in Steamworks. That said, please be mindful of what's visible on screen and whether it includes any sensitive information. If it contains details such as financial data, future discount plans, pricing information, or anything else you consider confidential as a partner, we'd recommend not sharing it. Otherwise, showing the generic tools and features in the store page editor is fine. Let me know if you have any other questions. Steam support, JP." So that is great news because well, let me just show you an example of what I want to do. Because this is not private, but I got to log in first to make sure there's nothing private there. Give me a sec. It's loading. Okay, so here, for example, here is one of the Steamworks pages. And you can see I could change any information on the Steam page, right? I've got a Discord link, an X link, a Reddit link, Steam Deck compatibility, supported platforms. Like all this stuff in the past, I would typically try to do off screen. And none of this is private. It's all stuff that shows up on the store page. So like if I do this here and click publish, you will see it. Now, the only thing that could be private, and I'm not going to do this, I don't care, but let's say I change the description and I've got some like, I don't know, story spoiler that I don't want to publish just yet, and you can see it on stream. It's like, yeah, that's not going to be a problem. So yeah, this will make it a lot easier. I do want to set this up. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow because I definitely want to have a Steam page online. One other thing I got to do. Oh my God, Zoho mail. Finish setting up Zoho Mail. You're allowed to read this message though. There's the rub. Eraser. Welcome in. So what are you using AI for? Bug fixes, concept art, all the non-creative stuff. So like code, testing something, sometimes documentation, tooling. But yeah, not for art, music, sounds, game design. Like this is something that actually I have kind of wondered about. I want to get better at game design. I want to be able to think through these problems. I want to come up with stuff. And that's why I spent whatever it is, 5.5 hours today doing that. But what if I had asked AI, like, hey, how would I make this broken in a way? And what do you propose for this? And let's brainstorm together. It probably would be helpful. I just don't want to do that. I want it to come from my brain or from like chat providing suggestions that then gets filtered through my brain. So, yeah. Anyway, we have a bunch of little things we need here. I want to look at the other stabilization tasks. And actually, you know what? We should just take a quick look at feedback. Is there anything I can do right now? We should let you dig out the door to the community center if you have the key. Change the helm and loot boxes to make it more obvious what it is. See how many times you died total. I like the source code idea there. Demo. Should we... When is the demo important? When is the demo important? Or rather, when should I have a demo? Like, I already coded most of it. It's not super polished yet, especially the title screen. I think we should wait until it's polished enough because there's no rush. Yeah, there's no rush. Maybe that's something we do in the next stabilization phase. So yeah, stabilization phase after checkpoint 3. Get a demo set up. Yeah. I want it to be polished enough that it's compelling. Generating prototypes with built-in controls. Yeah, generating prototypes for things and just being able to gauge a little bit more easily, I think is fantastic. It's like even this tiny swords thing. If you look at this and then try to come up with a game idea, it's a lot easier than if you just saw like the individual lancers and the knights and the sheep. You might be like, I can't picture exactly how this would go together. But this already lets you bring it to life. This is just art. I mean, there's no code behind this. But yeah, imagine that this was playable and you could like drag units around and they would try to walk back to their position or push someone out of the way or start attacking each other or something. It might further spark ideas for you. All right, so yeah, I think we should set up the Steam page tomorrow. We had 3 games. It may be worth focusing more on the story and doing only 2 new games. I actually said I wanted to do at least 4 games. Might be crazy. So let's look at the calendar. Design some more games was on the list. I mean, we started doing that. Like, I need to write more about that. Set up domains is practically done. So I wanted to spend at least 2 weeks doing stabilization, which would put us until the end of the 14th. But I want to add at least another week this time around, I think. So we'll tentatively say that checkpoint 3 should start on the 24th. 8/24/26. Okay to move it. I'm okay with 1 week in either direction. I think it's fine. But I think it'd be a mistake to spend fewer than 2 weeks on stabilization. So then let's say we do start on the 24th. We go... Whoop, what am I doing? I have no idea what I just did. Month. No, year. Year's what I want. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so 24th. So 1 week in August. 4 weeks in each other month. 5 in November. I mean, it's not really that for work weeks. But I want to go probably 2 months. So it'd be like October 24th. But this time I want to accommodate some vacation time. So, we have plans in November. Hey, let me look up what those plans are. Because maybe I could time it with doing that. When are they? The 17th. Okay, so yeah. I should aim to have it done then by the 6th, I think. That way I can do playtest the next week. The 6th. All right, let's take a look at this now. Days between August 24th and November 6th, 2026. 54 weekdays. So that's a lot more than what I had planned before, but I didn't account for vacation, right? Okay, I think this is good. Yeah, I think this is good. November 6th. Deadline is November 6th so that there's time for playtesting before vacation. All right, yeah. So make some new sub games, ratchet up the brokenness, expand the story, and improve the general polish. Title screen. We're gonna be doing that ahead of time though too. I don't know. Maybe we'll like ramp up the speed as well. All right. Well, what else is there on the stabilization stuff? I just want to get kind of organized for now. Oh yeah, tomorrow we're gonna do the Steam page. Morning, make the Steam page. Figure out what assets we may still need. I think that should be fun. All right, portraits for who's talking. Plan some vacation. Oh yeah, we're gonna write that down too. Hey, Macheros, thanks for the raid. How went the stream? Oh, weird. It's not, there we go. Yeah, welcome everyone. I'm just finishing planning up some stuff. We're not probably going to be doing anything super interesting, unfortunately, for the rest of the stream. So if planning is your thing, then great, but it is probably not your thing. Yeah, take a small vacation during the checkpoint. Yeah, 3 days, yeah. Yes, hello Raiders. Hello indeed. Planning is exactly my thing. Oh yeah, rebrand the Discord. We're doing that tomorrow too. It's about time. Rebrand the Discord. Yeah. Man, this is the stuff I've been sitting on for so long. I wonder if we can make merch tomorrow as well. Yeah, you know what? Let's write it down. That's probably pretty good. Is there anything else we can add as like a stretch goal? That's probably already too much work. Make the title screen look better. If there's extra time, make the title screen look better. Chaotic because I couldn't focus, but the chat was awesome. Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying nice to the chat being awesome because every once in a while it's like, hey, you don't get the work done that you think you'd get done. But as long as you feel good at the end of the stream, that's all that really matters. Oh yeah. Making merch from scratch. Sewing is the new game development. All right, we should bump this up the list. There we go. And then what is that for the Dungeon Racer? Zombies go crazy in this room, extract strings. Yeah. Yeah, so we have tomorrow figured out. Then I think on Friday we should start to work on controller glyphs. I am not looking forward to that. Work on controller glyphs. It's about time. Maybe also do something about key rebinding. 812. Okay. Wait, 812. No, it's AI reset. Okay, got it. Oh. Nuts. Just nuts. So much stuff to do. I'll make a website as well. Steam tracking links. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder. Maybe we should do some research first. figure out if there's any benefit to waiting until we have more polished assets or a demo. I don't think there is, and I don't know if it really matters anyway. Yeah. Well, I'm excited for that stuff. I think it'll be good. And yeah, like I said, tons and tons of work to do. But hey, the game's been moving right along. Everyone's had fun so far. I have another playtest tomorrow, and it's the final one for Checkpoint 2. So I will have found, I think it was 5 playtesters for Checkpoint 1, and we'll have 5 for Checkpoint 2. 1 duplicate person in that group, though. And then, yeah, Checkpoint 3 will be November 6th. Or maybe a little sooner, I don't know. But that should be good. So we'll just cram as much as we can into that. And which segment or section are you these days? I'm not totally sure what you mean. I'm right now, I consider myself to be in like a stabilization phase. So we're focusing on non-game specific tasks, things like the Steam page, merch. I'm doing some game design for future work that we're going to do, but there's like very little development toward new features. And the kinds of features we are doing are ones that are not fun features, unfortunately. So here's a good example. In the very first game, in the very first screen, you see press A to jump. It's like, it's not actually the A button. In fact, on my controller, it's the B button. But like, it just hasn't been a problem right now. And people eventually figure out what it's supposed to be. But like, that's got to get fixed. Same thing here, press A in the air to double jump. And then over here, it says press R to dash. And a lot of people are like, what's the R button? And then, yeah, it's like if it shows a picture of what it would be, that would be the best. So that's not fun. Nobody really like gives credit to a game for doing that, but they certainly ding it if it doesn't do it. So yeah, we gotta do stuff like that. Probably eventually need to add save slots. So when you click start game the first time, it just starts the game. But when you click it the second time, or maybe if you have a save file, there's like a load game here or something. Yeah, this whole thing needs to look a lot better. Oh, wondering what level and stuff. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. So we finished this game. This is the dungeon racer. The one where you bomb this wall and fall down. Wait. Oh, that's why I didn't put coins there. Oh, there's a problem with that. Anyway, yeah, this game is done. Get rid of those coins. I need special logic for the coins in room 4 to the left of the bombable wall, so that they only fall when the floor reaches them. This should be possible to configure, but right now they fall as soon as the floor starts falling. Yeah, so we got those. We got 5 games so far, and I designed some more. None of these are huge though. Like this one's maybe 30 seconds long. This one I haven't finished developing yet. This one I haven't finished exactly. This one, I don't think they're very long games, so we probably need something else. Do something using the battle assets. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna get going for now. I think I've been streaming for like 6 hours. Yeah, close. Yeah, but I think we've hit the extent of productivity today. So let me go find someone to raid. Okay, I'm going to raid Irad, who is playing Irish John Games' game. Oh, and Irishtron is there. Yeah, nice. We can go support 2 indie devs. All right, well, thank you all for being here. Tomorrow will be a day of these little side tasks that we have to do. So I hope you enjoyed today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching.